Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special council meeting for Thursday, August the 20th at 6 p.m. I have with me today Councillor Dita Burku, Councillor Stephen Erdely, Councillor Mitch Kajavsky, Councillor Mike Cohen, Councillor Sidney. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special council. Not good. Councillor David Torgman, Councillor Oren Sabag, and we also have the co-city manager, Jonathan Schechter, the city manager, Tanya Baranovich, and associate city manager, Nadia DeFuria, and our city clerk, Jason Prevo. Jason, we're going to turn it over to you for the question period to explain how that works and read any questions that we have related to tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for tonight's question period, we have one question that's going to be read out loud because it has to do with the agenda tonight, which is the bylaw. So I'm going to read out the question right now. The questioner is Linda Bell Serponi. Some countries like Italy have made it possible for citizens arriving from another country to take a COVID test, and if they are shown to not have COVID, they do not have to quarantine. It is a choice, quarantine or tests. This seems to me to be very logical and efficient way to handle the question of people arriving from other areas. It would also add a measure of safety. Can we not have this here in Côte Saint-Luc and elsewhere in the province or in Canada?
Well, thank you for your question. Our bylaw basically deals with matters under control for a municipality. The rules on quarantine and testing are provincial. So that's recommendations that we get from the health authorities, and then it goes, or the province gets those recommendations and then decides to make rules, regulations, or laws to deal with the issue of quarantine. It's a good idea. There's lots of good ideas, and we're always in communication with Dr. Kaiser at the health authority. So we'll definitely pass on your suggestion. But once again, this is not municipal jurisdiction. Are there any other questions?
Nope, related to the bylaw, that's it for tonight.
So let's go to the issue at hand, which is the bylaw. And what we're doing today to explain it to the public is, as you know, the city of Côte Saint-Luc took some steps. First of all, we adopted emergency measures early that were followed by the province. Then we adopted our bylaw dealing with masks, as well as hand sanitizers, signage, and other matters in order to protect our residents to the best of our ability. And that bylaw that we passed expires at the end of the month. So it was done based on the state of emergency and the situation of COVID-19. And since the province passed their own bylaw a couple of weeks after we passed ours, that deals with many of the same issues, requires masks in public buildings and in businesses, similarly to the way we do in our bylaw. It was determined by council that it would be repetitive for us to repeat what the province now has in law. So we are amending our bylaw to continue to include the things that are not in the provincial legislation, but removing everything else. So that would mean that we are keeping the regulations with respect to condos being required to have signage recommending the wearing of masks in common areas, hand sanitizers available at every entrance and elevator, either inside or at the entrance to elevators, as well as commerces having the requirement to complete an attestation that they are following the program, which includes exactly what I mentioned, putting up hand sanitizers, signage, and the wearing of masks, which is now required by provincial law as well. So that attestation requirement to ensure that all of our businesses are following and understand the law is still required, but the rest of the bylaw that would be repetitive is being removed. So now if there is any issue with respect to provincial law, the only enforcers are the police. Those are the ones responsible for enforcing the provincial law, and it does govern our municipal buildings as well as all businesses in our municipality. Now, the city also has the power and the right to make rules for our facilities. We don't need bylaws for that. So we will be having rules that relate to our library, our aquatic center, our arena, and those rules when they deal with COVID-19 issues will be modified based on the times. So right now things are good. So we'll have rules that are more lenient perhaps than we've had in the past. But should we have a second wave and need to be more diligent, then the rules would be more severe. So that would, to be specific, I mean, it depends on the situation, but will we allow certain sports? Will we allow them to do it with, social distancing with masks, without masks? It all depends on where we are in the wave and what the provincial health authorities recommend. But we will have our rules very clear for every activity. And anybody who signs on to an activity always has to sign a contract saying, we're signing on to this yoga activity and we understand the rules. And in this case, because of COVID-19, we need to do additional things. So that's what this is all about. And today is the notice of motion and tabling. So I'm going to call on Councillor Sabat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do you want me to read all 7 articles or just the notice of motion?
I think it's just all he has to do really say is he's giving a notice of motion and a tabling for bylaw 25571.
Perfect. So whereas I'm giving a notice of motion of bylaw 2557-1 entitled bylaw 2557-1 amending bylaw 2557 entitled bylaw 2557 instituting temporary safety measures related to COVID-19 virus on the territory of the city of Côte Saint-Luc in order to amend certain sections pursuant to the adoption of the provincial decree 810-2020. And I'm tabling that motion.
Perfect.
But you're tabling the bylaw, correct?
Sorry, I'm tabling the bylaw.
Okay, so the draft bylaw has been tabled.
So I think that's it, right, Maitre Schechter? Correct. There's no vote on that. We'll be having another special meeting on Monday to adopt the bylaw as amended. And that will be on Monday, August 24th. So if there is no further business, I'd call for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Cohn, all in favor. We are adjourned. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Monday night once again.